Hello, and welcome to Interviewing Tips and Techniques brought to you by the Ohio Means Jobs Geauga County Career Center. The Ohio Means Jobs Geauga County Career Center is located within the new Geauga County Administration Building, located at 12611 Ravenwood Drive, Chardon, Ohio 44024. My name is Lisa Sprouse, and I will be your presenter today. I am a part-time Geauga County Job and Family Services Career Center instructor employed through Auburn Career Center. I also have 25 plus years of experience in employment screening and recruiting. To begin, Glassdoor recently surveyed 750 hiring managers to find out what they thought were the critical skills a job candidate should have to ensure a great interview. 9 in 10, which amounts to 88%, said an informed candidate is a quality candidate. So identifying what the description straight from Glassdoor indicates is that, one, a person is prepared, they ask the right questions, they demonstrate the right experience, they are knowledgeable about the job role and the organization's cultures and values, they are fully prepared, they've got the right expectations about compensation and benefits, they are engaged in their job search. They are relevant as they present a customized resume or cover letter focused on that position that they're interviewing for. And last but not least, they are more thoughtful about where they work. So this is really important to kind of look at all of these descriptions here as we progress through this PowerPoint. So a typical employer will interview 6 to 10 candidates for a job, and candidates will go through at least 2 to 3 rounds of interviews. I know a lot of people get frustrated when they are going through a interview process. They interview one week and they don't hear anything, and that's because that company is more or less interviewing other candidates as well, trying to find the right person to fit that specific job. So after conducting phone interviews, the average hiring manager will then invite 2 to 4 candidates for an on-site interview. Now, usually 2 to 3 candidates are invited to that final round of interviews. So most employers interview fewer than 10 candidates for a position. So only about 2 to 3% of applicants will receive an interview on average. Now, most employers will have multiple rounds of interviews, so this really allows the candidate to meet more than one person, kind of learn a little bit more about the position as well as the company, and it also allows the employer to receive multiple opinions before deciding to extend an offer. So there's always some luck and factors that you can't control in the hiring process. However, in the interview, it's best to focus on the factors that you can control, like your preparation, how you answer your questions, how you present yourself. So use your resume to prepare yourself for the interview. You've already spent an awful lot of time putting pen to paper and putting thought into what or how you wanted your resume to look, what it provided to an individual looking at it. So again, use that as your tool to really kind of jot down 3 things that you liked best about the job or a few things that you accomplished or contributed to in this position as it would relate to the position that you're looking to go for. So if you were looking at a sales position and within a geographic region, then write down what your sales numbers were. How many times did you meet goal? What was your increase in sales? Or, are you looking at an engineering or a product manager job? Write down what type of accomplishments you had. Did you bring a new product to market? Did you work with marketing to get a product out into the marketplace? So again, your resume should have these bullet points, and you want to kind of pull from them and expand on them. Your interviewer has already seen those bullet points on your resume, so now it's time for you to expand on those and really kind of, hit home with them. So another thing you're going to want to do when you're preparing for interviewing is figuring out how you want to go ahead and answer specific types of questions during the interview process. The STAR method is a method that really helps you prepare, okay? It's a structured manner of responding to a behavioral-based interview question by discussing specific situation, task, action, and result of the situation you are trying to describe. So the situation that you were in or the task that you needed to accomplish. So this is another area that you want to put pen to paper and take a look at, something that happened during the course of your career that maybe you had a substantial change, something happened maybe internally, it was an HR function, and there was something that you had to do in order to be successful or have a successful outcome. So the STAR method is something that you can certainly take with you during your interview process. Now, there's going to be some pre-interview questions that you're going to want to kind of take a look at, recruiting-related questions. How did you hear about it? So, did you network? Did you hear from a friend? Did you apply online? You want to write down your strengths and your weaknesses, just in case they are skipped in the interview. A lot of times, a company will send a form out to you and have you fill it out. Everybody has strengths. Everybody has weaknesses. But what I suggest when you discuss your weakness is that you discuss your weakness in a positive way. Yes, I know I talk a lot. However, I have been doing A, B, and C in order to combat that. Now, people are motivated and frustrated, with a company. Now, do you fit with the company's culture and management style? There's going to be test questions related to the type of position. You're going to want to proofread your responses. You do not want typos or grammatical errors. And then be sure the information you submit matches your resume and your job application. So here are some kind of interview do's when you are going to an interview. You want to be on time. You want 10 to 15 minutes early. That's on time. You certainly want to dress appropriately for the industry. Smile, offer a firm handshake, and make eye contact. You want to have a list of questions about the company and the position ready. You certainly want to ask for a business card from each interviewer. And then at the end, you certainly want to send a thank you note or a letter after the email. And nowadays, an email thank you is just fine. But again, you want to make sure that you are ready from that first hello. Now, interviewing don'ts. You never get a second chance to make a good impression. So, do not chew gum. Do not smell like smoke. Do not wear a lot of perfume. Don't slouch or fidget in your seat. Have good posture. Don't use words like fired or let go. Never talk about personal issues, and don't ever make negative comments about previous employers. Again, you are most likely looking in an industry that you've already been in. You never know who you're going to work for or who you're going to work with. Maybe 5 years ago you worked with somebody, you did not get along with them. You talk about this person in the interview process only to find out that they just hired that person yesterday. Not going to make you look good. So again, you never want to make negative comments about a previous employer or coworkers that you've worked with. Now, at the beginning and while you're in your job search, you submit an application, you submit your resume, they contact you and they want to interview you. Phone interview, in-person interview, virtual interview, and we'll go over these as we go along. But one of the things that you really want to make sure that you do is you want to research the company. You want to look at the skills and experience, the company values, who are those key players of the organization. You want to look at news and recent events. Did a company 5 years ago file bankruptcy? Are you sure this is the type of company that you want to go work for? Did they just get a big award because their company culture, their mission and value statement is just, their employees just love working there? You want to look at who their clients are, who their products are, who their services, what services that they offer. Are they a manufacturer? Are they in retail? You want to kind of look at all of that. Now, you want to take a look at who you're interviewing with, too. Kind of get a good idea of who they are. You can look on LinkedIn for a lot of information on researching a company, on their news and recent events, the person that you're interviewing with. And it's also going to be a good time to connect with these people as well. That kind of gives them kind of that step up, that they're looking at your LinkedIn profile, that you've looked at theirs, that you are doing that research. And then again, you want to kind of get the inside scoop. What's going on with this company? Are they in a growth mode? Have they been stagnant? Is it a privately held or a publicly held company? So these are the things that you really want to take a look at as you're researching the company and getting to know the company, so that you are fully prepared when discussing the position and the organization with the interview. Now, what to wear to your job interview? I know a lot of people, have a couple schools of thought on this, but again, you only get one chance to have a great first impression. Now, if you're working with a recruiter on a job, I would suggest ask that recruiter, hey, what do you suggest that I wear to this interview? Kind of get from them what their thoughts are. If you are working with an HR manager, you can say, is there anything that I need to wear or bring with me? Steel-toed shoes? Are you going for a walk within the facility? Do you have to have, a hard hat? Do you have to have safety glasses? They're going to be ones to really help figure that out. Some companies, they want you to dress in a business casual. They don't want you walking in there in a suit and a tie and the whole 9 yards, and all of their employees looking at you like, who is this person? So again, you want to be comfortable. You want them to be comfortable. So, I would suggest if you're talking with someone, just, quickly ask them, do they have any attire requirements for the interview? If they do not, then by all means, suit and tie, always, male or female. So again, you want to do the two-piece suit, long sleeve shirt, even in the summer. They may have you take your jacket off, and again, you don't want to have short sleeves on. Empty pockets to eliminate any bulges in the area. Do a conservative tie. Have your belt match your shoes. You don't want to have, ostrich gray and then a brown belt. Again, for men, no earrings, no jewelry, clean and trimmed fingernails. Very similar for the women. Now, again, avoid perfume, avoid heavy makeup. And I would say, for the men, avoid the cologne. So, again, here are some good tips and suggestions for what to wear to your job interview. Now, preparing for a phone interview. Preparing for a phone interview is going to be a little bit different than preparing for an in-person interview. And the reason being is that you don't see the person that's interviewing you, and they don't see you. So you can do a little bit of, cheating, so to speak, on a phone interview, okay? You certainly want to take it as seriously as an in-person interview, okay? You want to be in a secure, confidential location where you've got absolutely no chance of distractions, nobody walking in on you. You want to do some research before the interview. You want to listen while you're on the phone. Don't dominate the conversation. Listen. And then prepare your own cheat sheet. Again, this is where you're kind of cheating, so to speak, is that what we talked about, putting down the 3 accomplishments or contributions and things like that we had talked about at the beginning. You can actually have those written there in front of you that you can refer to. You can have your resume sitting there in front of you that you could refer to. And you can also have a paper and pencil or pen to take notes. Take notes during the course of the phone interview. That's going to be a really, really good opportunity for you to take any notes on the position, on the company, so that if they do call you back for a second phone interview, or they call you back for a first face-to-face, you've got those notes that you can refer back to, and you can really be able to prepare even more so. If you're actively job searching, you're probably going to be having multiple job interviews, phone, virtual, face-to-face. So again, having these notes that you can refer back to, and you can quickly be up to speed on what company you're going to, what you talked about with the interview person, and what it is that they do. Now, you want to then be ready for those common phone interview questions, have those kind of answers written down there too. And then at the end, send a thank you email. One thing you could always ask them on a phone interview, because a lot of times, you're talking about a lot of different things, and, they're going to ask you, do you have any questions? and go ahead and ask those questions that you had written down about maybe the company and the position, why the person left, kind of what is the growth availability for this position. And then finally, let them know that you are interested in the position. Let them know that this is something that you would certainly have an interest in continuing, and ask them if there is anything in your background that would stop you from taking that next step. You want to walk away from a phone interview, and you don't want any miscommunication. This way, if they come back and they say, well, this is a quality role and I see that you don't have Six Sigma, maybe it wasn't discussed, and maybe you do have it. They missed it on your resume, and this is your opportunity to combat any of those things. They may say, well, we really wanted somebody that has a black belt and you have a green belt, and you can say, well, I've already begun those classes in order to take that next step up in the, in my quality experience. So again, that's a great opportunity to ask them. And then at the end, make sure that you get an email address for them if you don't already have that. Now, really, a phone interview is probably not going to be the best time to ask them what their email is. Your research. When you research them, you research the company, you should have that email address. And you want to certainly send a thank you email to them. If you don't have it, you can, hang up with them, call the receptionist, and ask them and say, I just recently interviewed for this role. I would like to send Joe Smith a thank you follow-up email. Could you please provide me his email address? More times than not, they will be willing to go ahead and give that to you. Now, in-person interview tips. We just went over the whole phone interview tips. You want to take those, then you want to compile them in to getting ready for that in-person. By the time you are invited for an in-person interview, like I said, you will have completed the necessary research. You decided what you'll be wearing. You printed out multiple copies of your resume. Again, you want to make sure that you are fully prepared. There's other things to consider, though. Research and map directions to the location. Okay, if you have an opportunity, drive past the location. Get an idea of where it's at. You want to be there 10 to 15 minutes prior to your interview, so you want to be fully prepared. You don't want to get stuck in traffic. You don't want to find out that there's a detour and you have to go a half an hour outside city limits. You also want to ask them, is there a guard station? Is there a receptionist? What do I need to do upon arrival? Is there going to be somebody that's going to meet me? Is there a phone at the door on the outside of the parking lot? Do I need to go to the red awning? Things like that's going to be really important to find out before you go, because those are going to cost precious time. Now, upon arrival and you meet with that person, you want to be prepared with a firm handshake. You want to make eye contact, smile, pay attention to your posture, don't slouch, and be confident. Be confident. You exude confidence. So we've talked about in-person. We have talked about, phone interviews. Another aspect, and what they're doing a lot nowadays, are virtual interviews. You've heard of Skype, you've heard of Zoom, you've heard of Teams. So a virtual interview is an interview that takes place remotely. You're not going to their facility. Maybe you're at home. You're working in another state, and they want to be able to at least visually see you. So again, virtual interviews are often conducted much the same way as face-to-face. You're still going to see them, and they're going to still, kind of have the ability to read your body language and your facial expressions and so forth. So you want to make sure that you are, prepared for that. Do some research on some videos. How do I set up a virtual meeting with somebody? Where do I put the lighting? What room do I go in? What do I wear? Things of that nature. These are a lot of things that you want to make sure that you are prepared for. So again, if you're in the middle of a job search, it is likely that you'll be asked to do your interviews virtually. So you want to test your technology beforehand. Make sure your camera and microphone are working. Okay, make sure you've got a good internet speed. Everything is working there. You don't want to be on the middle of a conversation, all of a sudden everything just shut down. That's certainly not good. You want to wear professional attire. Even though you're not in person, you're still being seen. Okay, so make sure, again, suit is fine. I always suggest full suit. I know you're in front of a computer monitor. I know that there's a camera. Just be fully dressed. There's a lot of things from a human nature standpoint that when you are fully professionally dressed, even though you're in front of a camera, in front of a monitor, you still exude that confidence. So again, you want to make sure that you do that. Again, prepare in advance. Make sure you review your resume, research the company, have questions ready. Limit distractions. Be in a quiet, confidential location where your family members, your pets, the landscaping company that comes out and landscapes your yard, they cannot be heard, okay? And never do a virtual interview during work hours or at your place of business, okay? If a company sees or has any type of an idea that's what you're doing, they're going to look at it and say, okay, if this person's going to do it now, they may do it to us in the future, and you don't want to give them any type of inclination that would happen. Other things, use professional body language. Practice looking into the camera for direct eye contact. Sit with your elbows off the table or the desk. A lot of times what will happen is you see your face down in the lower right-hand corner. You've got the individual that's up on the screen. They can see you. Keep looking down. Try to focus on that person. If you're looking at that person, they're looking at you. You've got that direct eye contact. Build rapport with them. Be personable. Just as much as you would in a typical face-to-face. Remember, just because you're not physically in front of the person, it's still a face-to-face interview. And be authentic. Be you. That's who they're looking to hire, is you, not a semblance of who you could be or who you think they want you to be. Be you. And then follow up. Close out the interview with a thank you. Ask for the next step. Again, same thing. Ask if there's anything that would prohibit you from moving to that next phase. You can ask them, when do you expect to hear back from you? You can close it out and say, okay, I feel that I would be successful in this position. When can we look at starting? Sell yourself, close the sale. So once completed, follow up again with a thank you expressing your interest in the position. So in conclusion, the interview, whether it be a phone, in person, or virtual, is one of the most important parts of your job search. Being as prepared as possible will certainly help you feel more confident, less nervous during the process. And though, you may not be invited back or receive an offer of employment, each interview you go on is going to be a learning tool for the next interview. So don't get discouraged. Your time will come. Here at the Geauga County Career Center, we are certainly available to help you with some mock interviews if that is something that you are looking for in order to further prepare in this process. So feel free to reach out to us. The Ohio Means Jobs Geauga County Career Center is available to provide further assistance with interviewing as well as any of the other services such as resume writing, your LinkedIn profile, computer assistance, etc. We've got a number of ways that you can reach a career instructor, either via phone, via email, or we now have a virtually connect with career instructor located on our website where you have the ability to connect one-on-one and discuss your needs, schedule an appointment, whether it's going to be virtually or within our Career Center. We are open by appointment only between 8 a.m. and 3:30 p.m. Monday through Friday. Please keep in mind our career instructors are not available between noon and 1 as they will be gone for their lunch hour. Again, I do appreciate your time today. I hope you have learned a little bit more, and certainly we wish you a great success in your job search and obtaining further employment. Thank you.